Okay. All right, let's get started. I'm so excited. So, are you in the right room? Um, if you feel like you have low energy, feeling like you're in a fog, need clarity, asking yourself what now or what next? Is this all there is in life? And what is my real purpose and meaning? I need meaning. So these are typical questions I get. I don't know if I've mentioned that I've interviewed, I've spent about 70 hours interviewing different people from everywhere, and these are typical feelings. And if you feel any of these or getting there, then you're definitely in the right room. So, welcome to Don't Put Off Your Happy Life. I'm Eileen. I'll be hosting this today. And feel free to just put in any question. And so I don't get lost in the chat box, please put a capital Q with a colon so that I can address your question. And feel free to ask questions anytime. And let me know if we're going too fast because I get excited. So, are you living your life with so much energy and clarity in direction, or are you sleepwalking through life? When you live your life on purpose, you feel in control. Life on you feel in control, empowered, energized, productive, and happy. So, what can you expect today? So, I'm going to share with you 3 secrets to reigniting your life. I'll share with you the LIT framework, which we use in our course. This course is a 6-week course, but it runs for a year. And I'll be sharing with you some experiences we've had in the last 8 months. And you'll get to create a future you want to live in. So starting today, your life's going to change if you do the work. So I'm going to be giving a free workbook at the end of this workshop. And I encourage you to, at the end of this week, spend your weekend reflecting. If you're not on mute, could you please put yourself on mute? I can hear you guys. Okay. So let's see. Just put in the chat box a letter Y or a letter N. Don't be shy because nobody really knows you. Um, just put Y or N so we can see, I can have a feel for what's going on in the room. So open your chat box. Do you wake up raring to jump out of bed in the morning? Let's see your answers. Okay. Is your vision of the future clear? Are you very specific? Have you articulated it? Does it excite you?
Okay. Um,
Someone put on mute your button. Okay, so are you purposeful and living with intention? Do you know why you do what you do? Is it clear to you, I'm doing this kind of work or I'm where I am because it's clear to me? Remember, I asked you guys to bring pad paper, so please make sure you keep this. This page is in your workbook, and I'd like for you to look at it like 3 months from now, okay? Number 4, are you purposeful every day, not sleepwalking through life? You'll know this like if you get in the car and suddenly you're already in your destination and like, which route did I take? Are you living on autopilot or every day you're living your purpose? Number 5, do you remember when the last time you were truly fully alive? Like, I'm not talking about when you were 3 and you went to Disneyland. I'm talking about this month. Did you feel fully alive? Like, wow, I'm so glad I'm alive. And number 6, do you still have the passion and energy to keep pushing as hard as your business or your work needs? You wake up with energy. You can't wait to get work done. You can't wait to work. You don't remember it's a Friday or a Monday. You just love it. You have so much energy for your work. Nice. Do you know what you are best at? Like you are best in the world at this. You can beat anyone with this unique ability. You can impact humanity and best serve the world. What are you best in the world at? Do you know this? Have you discovered this? Okay. Do you have a framework? Do you have a framework to take action? Yes or no? Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, so remember this page is in the workbook if you want to share it with other people later on. Okay, so what are we going to cover? We're going to be reviewing the Get Lit framework, which is our course. And number one, we're going to learn from your number one on the framework is really learning from your past. And your past is, from when you can remember to yesterday. And then we're going to figure out how do we find our best and how do we focus on the future. So we're going to be covering 1, 2, 3 because we only have an hour and a half. And the nice thing is from today, you're not going to be stuck in a rut if you keep following this framework, and you'll get to know a little bit about it as we go on. So the villain, the problem is we have false beliefs, and false beliefs are old tapes that you still play in your head that create your current reality. So wherever you are today is based on a belief, based on what you believe in. You created this reality. I'll give you a false belief that I've heard from people that I interviewed in those 70 hours. An old tape would be, this sounds interesting, but I don't understand how it would work for me. Her internal belief is, I'm sold, but I don't like sharing in groups. And the external belief is, I think I could join and observe, but I don't have the budget for workshops, or I have 2 jobs. I don't know how I can make it all work. Another belief, this sounds cool, but I'm not a workshop kind of person. Her internal belief, okay, but I don't like structure. I'm not one to write goals and work on them. I just don't execute well, The other belief, I think I can write my new story, but even if I did, my parents are getting old, my kids are still in the nest, and my partner expects me to help out at work. What are false beliefs? False beliefs are things that don't support us. They don't encourage us to keep going. It limits us to create a reality that we want for ourselves. So, if you were to stay on the same path, doing the same things, what do you think you'd be missing out on in your business and life in the next year? In 2025, you'll come to me and say you're still stuck in the same space, or you're still living a mundane life on autopilot asking what's next. So, of course, this is for people who are in this, who think they should be in this room, right? So let's continue exploring. Here's another thing I heard. This is interesting, but I'm not a visionary. I take things as they come. And I'd like to really be happy, but creating vision boards is not my thing. I'm not into arts and crafts. I think I can finally start working on my happiness, but my work pays me well. I can't leave. They promoted me to a position that does not use my strengths. Although I am miserable, I don't think I can make as much money following my dreams. So when I hear stories like this, I really feel pain because I feel people are imprisoned and they don't know how to get out of that prison. They don't even know that they're holding the key to unlock that prison. And that prison was created by things we believe in, things we were told when we were younger, things we were told by our teachers, parents, best friends, bosses, coworkers, and we start creating these belief tapes and we keep replaying them in our head because it serves us in a way. But um today I'm going to challenge you to really challenge your belief systems. What is it that you believe in? If you are where you are today because of choices you made yesterday, and those choices were made because of what you believe in. So today, start thinking, that is this true? Is this absolutely true? False belief number 4. This is interesting, but this is only for women. I already know this. I've attended so many talks in our organization. I could give this talk. Why would this be different? It's just more things to add to my list. Okay, but my business won't run without me. Nobody else can do this but me. I have a lot of employees, but they're not as good as me. They can't do what I do and they need me 24 hours. This is so common especially for business owners and CEOs who can't delegate and love to micromanage. And so, where did they get this belief that nobody else is as good as them? And so they're tied, and again, they create a prison for themselves. So I challenged one person and I said, what's stopping you from having the courage to finally live a life you want to live in? So I'll ask you that same question. What's stopping you from having the courage to finally live a life you want to live in? It's a simple decision, right? You just decide, yes, I want to live in a life I want to live in. Just plan it, believe it's going to work for it, get unstuck and move forward. It's that simple, but it has to start with a belief from you that you're going to do it. But what if you said yes? So this girl said, thank you for convincing me to do it. From overwhelmed, sick, feeling there's no way out, to finding a way through, now energetic, purposeful, and alive. When I was first speaking with this woman, she's a very successful entrepreneur and she really felt like she's done. I'm throwing the towel in. I'm joining your course because I don't have a way through and maybe I'll just retire or maybe I'll sell my business. The bad part is even if you retire and sell your business, you're not going to be happier because you haven't found what it is that makes you happy. So on our 8th month, she said, I was able to get unstuck, take action, and I'm now expanding my connections and my business because she discovered her purpose. She discovered her strengths. And that's what we're aiming to do today. So challenge number 2, what are your false beliefs costing you? And I'd like you to write that in your notebook, pad, paper, journal. What are my false beliefs? And maybe write 5 of them. And what is it costing you? And that's a homework you can reflect on for this weekend. What are my false beliefs costing me? And what are they to begin with? So ask yourself again, if you were to stay on the same path, doing the same things, where will you be next year? In the next 90 minutes, my goal is to get you to believe that LIT is the key to reigniting your passion for life. And I'm going to show you my proprietary framework that will make it simple for you to achieve that result. It's that easy, making a decision and working on yourself. So why did I create this course and why am I doing this? So I thought, hey, can I have an advocacy where I help people just find themselves and reignite their passion for life again? I've spoken to some of you on a casual basis sometime last year, and we were talking about getting excited again. And I wonder where you are now compared to where you were when we spoke about 10 months ago. I started talking to people 10 months ago for my market research to figure out why people are not so ignited about life. And there's a lot of reasons. And I get it. As an entrepreneur, I used to live on autopilot. It came to a point that I did not have enough energy and passion to keep pushing as hard as the business needed. It was so tiring. I felt like I worked hard, but I still kept pushing. I worked until early hours. My son would say, oh my God, I wake up at 2 a.m., my mom is working, and I wake up for school at 5:30 a.m. and she's still at her desk, or she's already awake to go to work. But I didn't feel successful. I kept looking for meaning and purpose, and I wanted something more. So I felt confused, tired, overwhelmed, anxious. I was taking meds. I was lacking confidence. Imposter syndrome was so big. Somebody on mute, please. So I wanted to be the leader of my life. I needed to feel empowered. So, do you have a roadmap?
Hilig mo talaga sa itlog, no?
Guys, someone's not on mute. Someone having breakfast.
Bakit masakit katawan? Ha! Ang ginawa ko.
Hello, someone's not on mute.
Anong ginawa ko? Anong ginawa ko, mahal ko? Ba't sumakit ang katawan mo? Huh?
Oh my God, how do we find that person?
Let me try to
I think Essing is not on mute.
Hello.
Essing.
Okay, thank you for identifying that. Thanks. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So I spent so much money in different courses and programs over 9 years, and I kept going around in circles. So this went on for so many years. Just I was starting to accept that that's how life should be. So in hindsight, had I done this program, I would have saved about $150,000 and 9 years of my life. I enrolled in everything I could enroll in. I followed every master I could follow. I attended every yoga retreat. I went back to school. I took a master's program. I traveled a lot for different courses and programs. And I just was searching and I couldn't find it. So it was all worth it as it prepared me for the worst to come in my journey, an opportunity that led me to get Create Lit. So the search was triggered by my need to find my best self after a very painful depression and separation from my ex-husband, which some of you obviously are familiar with. I did not know that that was just the start. So what's the backstory? In the last 2 years, I went through cancer that had metastasized to my lymph nodes. I had radiation and surgery. After that, a scary bone infection that we thought was cancer. COVID closure of my businesses. The painful goodbye to my employees. Leaving my country. Losing a home. Packing up a home. Almost died with heart failure. My heart was just beating. My ejection fraction was only 20%. And hospitalization in a foreign country alone. I had to go through cardiac rehab. I went through bankruptcy. I had threats of lawsuits, pelvic surgery, foot injury, living with pain up to now, and serious family issues. My father just died last month, and eventually I got shingles. I had 3 heart procedures and will have another surgery next month. I have a standing order for blood tests and scans, so I'm always at the hospital. I wore my Holter monitor on dates. It became my life. I live with pain every day. I have 4 specialists, 5 clinics that I report to. All these medical visits prevented me from working full-time and not a good place when you need to create wealth. Okay, so the epiphany. People wonder how I can still be grateful, happy, accepting, and at peace. Because you can replace can't with can. So again, visit your belief systems. Visit the excuses you gave last year. Visit the excuses you gave yesterday. All these major events are happening while not having any money. But somehow, things just keep popping up that help me. And I do believe the universe supports all our wishes if we live on purpose. You'll be amazed at the stories of goodness and manifestation when you match your frequency with can rather than can't. Despite the challenges, I get to write my new story, and I have never been happier. So despite heart failure, these are pictures of adventures we've been doing in the last 2 years, post-cancer surgery. So this is why I created Lit, to help seekers like me. This time, you don't need to waste money and years of your life, go through all that pain and anxiety. With this framework, you can live with intention and direction and live a meaningful, happy life driven by purpose. I'm just checking the time. Okay, so when people are asking, how am I able to handle all my challenges? I answer, it's time to get lit. So I invite you to get lit. Let's create a life you want to live in. I encourage you to dare to live a meaningful, energetic, and purposeful life. If you've been concerned in the past that you just can't get unstuck, it's not your fault. You just need the right person to explain it to you. Just revisit all your belief systems that you believed in the past, the false ones. If you ever thought that life is hard, you're probably right. But that should not make you put off your happy life. So this is what I'm here for. I know you have a dream to live your best life ever, to feel purposeful and to make an impact. I want to show you how to make that happen. So let's get lit. Okay, so we'll start with the 3 secrets, which I promised you. So secret number 1, Happiness requires reflection. And I know a lot of you said, oh my God, these questions you sent. So for those who are not on our Facebook chat, I sent these questions ahead of time because the number one secret is doing the inner work. Because how can you drive your car if you don't know your car? So get to know yourself even more and who you are today, not who you were like 10 years ago. So let's break that down. Question number one. So get your pad paper and let's get the chat box a little bit crazy. What is your biggest frustration about creating the life you want? And I really want you guys to write this in your journals. We will go through these questions faster because I've sent this ahead. And my purpose here is for you to be able to reflect in your journal and reflect over the weekend as well. Make this weekend your retreat. So somebody just write in the chat box, what is it that you're frustrated about creating the life you want? Procrastination. Fear of failing is big. That's true. Disapproval. I've also heard money, time, my parents, my pain, too many people to take care of. I've forgotten my passion, distractions, debts, fear of change. You know, fear of change is big because we're so scared of what's out there. And will we be accepted if we've changed? Lazy, too many compromises. I heard a couple who said they've removed the word compromise from their life. I just learned that the other day. Time, too many options. I love this first world problem, right? Like, I don't know where to live because I have houses everywhere. But it's interesting, you know, we think that sometimes when people have a lot of money, they don't have problems, but actually, when you have so much to manage, right? So, what is the one thing you feel you're missing about living a full life? This is a good question because why are you missing it? Why aren't you creating it? Why aren't you making decisions to be there? Freedom. Oh my God, freedom is such a big word. You know, when I think about what it is that I want to offer the world, I think it's freedom. And I started this workshop saying we create our own jail because of what we believe in. Purpose in life. Yes, that's true. And you know what? It's easy to find your purpose, and I'll guide you there. So, what is your most important life goal? The thing is, I said, what is your most important life goal, which means it's only one. And that's such a hard thing for people to answer. And I encourage you this weekend to really just take time. What is my most important life goal? And I notice it depends on age. Some people want contentment, some people want legacy, some people want peace, some people want more money, some people want less responsibility, all sorts of stuff, right? No one's going to judge your life goal, but you have to have one. Because if you don't have one, in what direction will you go? So today in that pad paper, I asked you guys to put, what is your most important life goal? And if that's hard to answer, what's important to you right now? So family security, yes, of course. If you have young kids, you want to make sure your future, especially after COVID, right? We want to secure our future. I remember just before COVID, I said, you know, when I come back, I went to Whistler for a week and COVID happened when I was here. And I said, you know, when I come back, I'm going to create passive income. And I created this plan on how I'm going to create passive income. And then COVID hit. So yeah. Okay. So where are you stuck? Right? If you were to invest now in your future best self, where would you be putting your time and energy? This is one of my favorite questions because it gets you moving. If your goal is to create a secure future for your family, where should you be investing in your future best self? You're not going to be going off on trips every 3 weeks, going to the beach. You're going to be securing a future for your family. Again, there's no one answer. Some people, their best self is to be unbusy. And so what they need to do as a homework is to continue going out of town or spending time with friends. So no one's going to judge your future best self. But are you putting time and energy there right now? Do you have a structure? And this is a good one. I feel like there's pressure to live our best life, but what's the best life? And that's what I mean, right? It's up to you. My best life is being near nature because I realize life is short. So we moved to Whistler because I want to see trees every day. I want to see the mountains. I said, I open our tap and I drink glacier water and I don't have to pay for it. That's my future that I want. And some people probably call it, well, you know, shouldn't you be making more money or shouldn't you be more busy? Shouldn't you have more employees? That's their best self. You have to honor what your best self is. But if you don't write it down and you don't have a clear picture of what that looks like, then how will you get there? Now, the question is, once you've written this best self in your journal, how would your life improve if you put attention into that activity, into if you put time and energy that brings you closer to what you want? So take a screen cap. I know, I'm not sure if I put this in the chat before you guys came on, meaning in our Facebook chat, but take a screen cap because I want you to land this question this weekend or after this talk. If you have time after this talk, really stick to this question and land it. Don't leave this blank. So let's get your journey started. How does that work? I'm going to ask everyone to create a transformation statement. I want to go from blank to blank so that when you get your transformation statement done, and this isn't easy, I know I've worked with so many people on this. It's not easy, but remember, it's better to put something than to leave it blank because you can always edit it tomorrow. Some people edit it 3 months later. Some people edit it on a regular basis until it sits well with you. So how do we break this down? What's the formula? There's point A, describe your current state, to point B, and you have to figure out why this is important to you. Let me show you a more simple slide. Okay, so what's your current state? I want to go from whatever it is you feel. Foggy, lost, confused, tired, overly rigid, overly planned, too many options. To what state of being? To be free, to feel liberated. These were things I saw earlier. To be financially free, to feel secure. So can you fill that up in your journal right now? I want to go from blank to blank and put the date today. So this is very important, right? You need to know where you want to go. And then now put your motivation, because when you get tired and you want to give up, you want to remember why you're doing it. So that, right? I want to go from my current financial situation to a financially secure future so that I can provide for my family with ease. I'm just taking off from what I'm seeing from the chat. I want to go from not feeling secure to a comfortable future for my children so that I can be peaceful, so that I can create impact. And if you feel brave, you can let others learn by putting it in the chat group. So transformation statement. Somebody wrote, I want to go from depressed to thriving and expansive. And I'm not going to simplify this. She was depressed. And she felt like she couldn't be a mom for her family because she felt like she was in a cage, right? She was in jail. And why did she want to do it? So that she can show up as her best self, whatever that means to her, so I can show up as my best self to my family, to my employees, to my community, to live a meaningful and successful life. 8 months later, she messaged me. I went from depressed and confused to now very clear on what I am to do for my family and community as I show up for my best self using only my strengths. I am energetic and thriving. And believe it or not, even her face changed. She is lit up from inside. And I've seen transformations of people because they made an effort to work on their reflections. Inner work insight is so important. And I do support meditation, yoga, awareness, mindfulness, any exercises that make you practice mindfulness because you need to do your inner work. Who are you? What do you want? Where do you want to go? And you you can say, yeah, I know that, but is it articulated? Have you articulated it? So get your journey started. Create your transformation statement, put the date today, and for Manila, that's September 16. And start there. Post it somewhere and get yourself excited. When sometimes there were times I've read transformation statements back to people I was working with on this, and it made them cry. Because once you write it down, it's powerful. Because you realize where you're not. Or some people got so excited they couldn't wait to wake up the next day because they're so excited they know where to go. So make sure that you have a transformation statement. Commit to that. So write it down there in your journal. Doesn't matter if it's correct or not. Just do it. Just write something. You can edit it over the weekend. Okay, so at the end of this, I'm going to give you a workbook. I know how many pages long, but there are exercises on it. There are questions in it that I'd like for you to do. And that will help aid you in your journey. It's excerpts from our course that I took out so that you can get your journey started. Okay, secret number 2, find your best. When you use your strengths, you're always energized. Have you ever been in a job where they're asking you to do something you're not good at? The funny thing is, if you're old enough to know what acetate in church means, like, when you put the acetate in the overhead projector, and you have to make it go the same time, like when they're singing Our Father and you have to make it go the same time so the whole church can see it. There's just something in me that can't do that. I'm so scared of like making the wrong thing. And it's such a simple task. But the thing is, I'm good at a lot of things. I'm just not good at that. So I want you guys to focus at what you're good at. A lot of people focus on what they can't do. Then don't do it. My kids say I'm the master of outsourcing. Yeah, because why would I put effort into something I don't know how to do or I'm not good at? So I sent you guys that question a few days ago. What are you best in the world at? That only you can do. That's a competitive advantage for you. So right now, don't leave this blank. Again, right? You are where you are today because of choices you made yesterday. What are you best in the world at? Write it down. So for the people who have cultural beliefs that we can't be boastful, that we are excluded when we are boastful, I encourage you to be honest with yourself. That's your God-given gift. Number 2, what were you made for? So I always say, when God made me, I'm like a snowflake. He made me and he made only me. And my job in this world is to figure out what that is and to live that purpose. Why did he make you? What were you constructed for? What are you doing today as a job, as a role Are you using what God made you for? When sorry, I can see the chat. Yes, you can go to the bathroom. um, every birthday, I do two things. One is I thank my mom for giving birth to me. And the other is I remind myself why God made me. And there are many different versions of this. But it's all similar. No matter how much you word it, no matter how it evolves over time, it just changes, but it's still why God made you. Have you discovered? Just put Y or N in the chat box. Have you discovered why God made you? What you're constructed for? Can we just see? I want to see how people are doing. What are you best in the world at? And you know what it is. Y or N. Sharing is caring. Thanks for sharing. And if you answered yes and you know how you discovered it, share it with everyone you work with. Because a lot of energy is lost. You see people who are so like drained because they don't know what they're good at, and they end up in roles doing things. They feel caged in their roles doing things that they weren't constructed for. And number 3 is figure out how you can make that your economic engine, or what can bring you a feeling of success. Thank you, Monette. Before I figured out what I was good at, I thought I needed to be a CEO. And so I created a 7-figure business thinking that's what I should be doing. And I learned how to be a CEO, and I got anxious, I got depressed, I did all sorts of stuff. And one day I just said, you know what? I'm going to do what I'm good at. And I'm all about fun and happiness. And so I made myself from CEO to CHO. I became the Chief Happiness Officer. And all I did was create surveys. Are you guys happy? Are you guys happy? I created parties, I created talks, and I did a lot of one-on-ones. It was the first year we did a lot of one-on-ones with sorry, I'm getting distracted. It's the first time I did a lot of one-on-ones with my staff. For the first time in 19 years, we hit record-breaking sales just because I applied what I was good at. So I may not have been the best CEO, and I'm so lucky that I had the best GM in the world. And she ran the company, and I ran the happiness portion. And that's it. I didn't have to be CEO like everybody else said. I just made everybody happy, and I helped people find their purpose. So are you in a job where you're exercising what you're good at? And you have to give up something, like giving up being a CEO, to do what you're good at, to trust that what you were constructed for will work. Then brain dump. In your pad paper, list down all your answers on what your strengths are. If you don't know what that one thing is, list them all down. And keep listing. Up to the end of the week, keep listing what you're good at. The problem with being smart and being older is we're good at a lot of things. Because as we experience life, we got to learn things. But it doesn't mean that that's what you're best at. For example, as I mentioned, I can probably cook and make a dish look good, but I can never enter a cooking competition. I'm deeply passionate about yoga, and I'm really good at it, but I could never be number 1 in yoga. There's nothing about it that makes me amazing. It's not what I was constructed for. I'm just deeply passionate about it. Maybe some of you love dancing, and you're really good at it. But does that mean that's what you were constructed for, and that's what you could make money with and affect the world with? So write down. The problem with being older and having experience is you're good at a lot of things, especially if you're a smart achiever. And the fact that you're here, a learning event, obviously you're good at a lot of things. You're here learning. But remove all of the things you're good at and find what is the one thing you are best at, and continue to challenge yourself if that's what you were constructed for. Just let me know if you have questions, okay? And if I'm going too fast, because I get so excited. Okay. All right. So I sent this in the Facebook group. How many of you guys did this? I love this because even when I'm confused, I go back to it. So High Five Test is a free version of the Gallup Strengths Finder. And I really encourage you to do this, but do it after you do the exercise I asked you to do prior. Because this will sort of confirm it. So it looks like this, right? So true enough, it says, I'm a maximizer. People who are especially talented in the maximizer theme focus on strengths as a way to stimulate personal and group excellence. They seek to transform something strong into something superb. That's the app. And then if you learn more, it will show you more about the maximizer. So this app is $19. This app is free. And still, it's very similar. If you look at the 5 answers, they're very similar. So I encourage you to do this, but way after you do your own internalizing. Which one did you do, Kata? Did you do High Five or Gallup?
High Five.
Yeah, and I even did this with my teams. Because if you notice, Gallup has orange, green, blue. Green stands for strategy. Blue is connection. And I think orange is relationships. And obviously, I'm heavy on strategy, and it made me lack connection with people, believe it or not. So I made my team do it, and we sort of analyzed how we did as a team. All 5 of us, we figured out, okay, we're lacking blues, so we better hire more blues to help make it an even organization. I said this to you. I don't know how many of you did this, but it's such a fun activity. And if you're shy to ask your friends, tell them you're taking an online program so it doesn't feel like you're just what do you call that when you're soliciting what do they call it when you're asking people for what you're good at?
Compliments.
What is it?
Compliments.
Yeah, you're fishing, right?
Yes,
So
I'm fishing.
yeah, so just tell them, hey, I need help. I'm currently taking an online program and I'm asking my friends to help me discover my greatest skill sets. You'll be surprised with what they come up with, and you can tally them. Ask them, hey, if you had 30 minutes with me, what would you consult me about? And sometimes it's not what you currently do. You're probably good at something that you didn't realize. Like, for example, I see Marilyn, and I know she does oils, and she's super good at it. But if I had 30 minutes with her, I will approach her for her nurturing strategy. She's so smart at strategizing anything that deserves something more soft, more nurturing. But everybody knows her for oils. She's so good at that. But she'll be surprised if she sent this questionnaire to me that I will go to her for her nurturing skills, but nurturing with strategy. So do this. It's so revealing, and you can tally it. I got answers I never realized. And what's your zone of genius, right? They can help you. Why, right? Okay. So any questions so far? Okay, secret number 3. Dream on. A lot of people think that the future will just happen. It doesn't. You kind of have to plan it, and you can't plan it softly. Just, I don't know why people don't take their life as seriously as they take their businesses. In your business, you have a vision, and you won't even invest money until your vision is clear and that you have a strategy. In your business, you won't put a lot of money in it unless you know how you're going to get to your goals and how you're going to create an ROI. But why don't we do it for our life? Don't we see our life as something we should vision and strategize? Why do you create goals in your business? Because you might lose money. You don't think you're losing money and time with your life? So take your life seriously the way you would take your business seriously. And when people say, don't take life so seriously, don't believe that. You need to take your life seriously. That's your life. And you don't know how much of it you have. In COVID, we lost friends. People our age. Did they know that they were only going to be given that much time? So in order to understand where we want ourselves to be in life, we must have a clear vision over our life. Just like your business vision, establishing a vision for your life gives you a direction. The goals that come from creating a life vision can give you clarity and control. It gives you the reason for your actions, choices, hopes, and desires. This allows you to live a fully engaged and exciting life that makes you feel fulfilled. So dream on. What's a vision? It's just a dream. I want to be this. I want to be that. This is where I want to be. The thing is, people stop. They say, I want to do this, but I can't because we don't have money. I want to be doing this, but we can't because my kids are still small. I want to be doing this, but we can't because we have all these limitations. Who put those limitations there? Revisit your belief system. Why do you believe that? Is it true? Is it absolutely true? Can you be honestly sure it's absolutely true? Ask yourself 3 times. Or are you believing someone's belief system that was passed on to you? One way to create a vision is to think about what parts of my life are important to me. This is just an example, and this is in the workbook. Maybe you'll put business, personal. Mine is my last vision board was a lot of travel and adventure because I was living in Manila and I was suffocating. Health and wellness, love, and a really nice office. It's so funny what is important to us, and no one's gonna judge this. You don't have to put something that you feel is so, wow, this is what should be important. No, it's what's important to you. So when you get your workbook, change the parts. You can only have 5 parts if you want. You don't have to have 10. You can have 10 if you want, right? I put fun and adventure in mine because that's important to me. So make sure that your feelings that you associate with your vision are positive and light. They're not feelings, they're not things that you put there because your husband or wife will be proud of you, because your parents or kids will be proud of you. For this exercise, just choose 3 years, 2022 to 2025. Put the exact date today. Why? I love vision boards that are so near because you have time to do it and it's so close you can almost touch it. When we were kids, we were taught to do vision, mission, goals, diba? SMART goals, etc. But vision we thought was 10, 15 years from now. I don't do that because it's too far. I'll get bored, I'll lose focus, and I'll quit. When I was still married and we were having a difficult time in our relationship, I said, in 5 years, I'm going to have a house of glass. And I remember clearly somebody asking me, someone so close to me, why did you put a glass house in your vision board when you guys are bankrupt right now? My husband, I think at the time, lost his business and we were living with my in-laws. But I was meeting all these realtors and looking at different lots because it's on my vision board. So I'm going to do the work to get there. And true enough, somebody offered me a lot where I could build my house of glass. And so if I started that journey saying, well, I shouldn't really be planning my house of glass right now because I'm bankrupt, where would that house of glass be now if you didn't work towards it? Remember that things start to happen when you match that frequency, that the vibrational frequency of what you're trying to get. If you're feeling abundant, abundance will come to you. If you say you can, you can. If you say you can't, you can't. If you say life is hard, life will be hard. So focus on your future. Figure out what parts you want to put in your vision. And next, I want you to get a vision journal. Write how you want each part of your life to look. How does it feel? What do you see, smell, touch? Who are you with? Who are you waking up with? Who are you sleeping next to? How many rooms are in this house that you're living in? Write it in present tense as if it's already happening. I have a green notebook. It should be somewhere here. And I made that my vision journal because I just kept adding things to it. And I remember at that time I was manifesting a partner in life. And when I wanted to write, I wanted to write where I was and the date. I looked around and I saw the street, and the street, I was trying to manifest a partner, and the street's name was, guess what the street name was? And I think Aurora might remember this. The street name was Husband Street. So it's like the universe was already telling me, yeah, go write it down there, because I was so scared to even ask the universe or God for a partner. So what are you scared to ask? And who's going to read that journal anyway? Write down anything you want. Because why can't you have it? Why can't you have what you want? Did God create a world where we will feel like we're lacking? Did he create all these things so that we can't have it? But if you believe life is hard, if you believe that's hard to get, if you believe you're sick, if you believe you don't have enough, then that's what will happen in your reality, because you created belief systems, false beliefs that will not support your life, not support your wants. So this template actually said, good things take time. And I said, they don't. Good things are coming. If I didn't change that, that would have been a belief system for all of you. So I was just using this free template and it said, good things take time. And I said, no, they don't. Good things are coming. And you say that every day. And you say, I am waiting. I am ready for good things coming my way. I am so excited for good things coming my way. Be careful what you start your morning with. Don't start with, I'm so stressed out because, we don't have cash and the company has no inventory and we have so much payables and my kids are this and my husband, wife is this. Good things are coming. Get ready for it. So say, I am ready for good things coming my way. That's how you start your morning. So after your vision journal, so remember we started with what parts are important to you. Have a working vision journal. What does a working vision journal mean? It means that you are always writing things in that journal, right? So from your journal, start getting visual so you can get excited about your future. So cut out photos that excite you and give you energy and positive feelings. Put words and quotes that inspire you. So your core values can be in there. Feelings that you want to name can be there. Especially if it's, let's say, now you feel lost and then you're now inspired. So you put there inspiring quotes, right? Because this is a snapshot of your future. So these are just parking lots, right? Of how your vision board can look. Because some people stop because they don't know what to put in that board. So what I did when I couldn't get my vision board started was I went to buy a board. I went to a supply store. I bought a huge board. And I put Post-it notes. And when I found pictures, I put them in that category. So create your categories. And anytime you see something in Pinterest that you like, cut it out, print it out, put it there. So I had things that felt so impossible to me at that time. For example, I'm eating ice cream with a man in front of, I don't know what. I was so busy with work, I couldn't even imagine eating ice cream in this foreign place with a man. So who's going to judge my vision board? No one. But for people who are in such busy homes and you don't want people looking at your vision board, people go in and out of your room, create one. So my niece is here. She has like the secret closet where when she opens it, she has stuff there inside. It's her like accessory box. It's like a magic Narnia. So have a board and find a place where you could hide it, but you still see it every day. Because you need to see your future every day if you want to get there. So see your future every day. Place a board where you can see it. Do you guys have questions so far? I feel like I just keep talking. Okay. Question. I know what God created for me. I'm not sure this is a purpose. However, I got tired and felt overwhelmed with it. Now I'm not sure this answer is still the purpose for me. So what's the question here? How do I know what my purpose is, right? How do I know truly what my purpose is? I think the first place to check is where your strengths are. I always ask people, when was the last time in the last month, in the last 30 days that you felt so successful professionally and personally? So you can go ahead and try and answering that in your journal. In the last 30 days, when was I fully alive because I felt so successful professionally and personally? You know, success feels light, exciting, energizing, positive. It's so clear. Yeah, someone asking a question? Okay, so when you ask yourself that question, in the last 30 days, when did I feel successful? Write 3 feelings that came with it. What were you feeling? When you came home, you probably told your partner about it. Probably told your kids about it. Oh my God, I'm feeling so elated because this happened at work. Or if it happened in the family, you go to work and the first person you see, oh my God, I feel so great because this happened. The problem with success is we think success as the way the world thinks success is. But just look for those positive feelings. That's success. And then tell me, what were you doing that made you feel successful? The answer is there. So when was the last time I was successful in the last 30 days? What was I doing that made me feel successful? Who was I with? So you need to see specifically who you were with, right? Because you need to be able to identify what was that. And that will kind of give you hints about what was I made for? Because when you're following your excitement, you're doing something that you were made to do. So follow that excitement and that can be revealed to you. Okay, the power of visualization. It's funny when men say, oh, I don't do vision boards. There's actually a speaker here in Canada. When I invited him to the Philippines for EO learning, he charged $50,000 to speak for 4 hours. And his number one work is vision boarding. He's a man who charges a lot, who does vision boards. And vision boards is not meant to be artsy. It just so happens women are so amazing, they create artsy vision boards. But men can do vision boards too. What's important is you can see how your future looks like. So if today you still haven't done a vision board because you think it's arts and crafts, it's just a tool for you to see what your future will look like. And I forgot to expound on what I said earlier, which is when I was making my vision board, I was so embarrassed, ashamed. There were all sorts of feelings of, I don't deserve this. How dare I even think I could put this here? This is so impossible. Why should I even put this here? What if somebody sees it? How embarrassing. But if you can't stand up for your vision, how will you even get there? What are you scared to profess? What is it that you truly want that you're scared to admit? One time I didn't know what I wanted. There were still blanks in my vision board because remember I told you I have this parking lot. Where is that? I started with this, right? And in Family and Adventure, it had so many things that I think should be there, like Africa. But I really didn't want to go to Africa, but I just thought it should be there. But really, I didn't want to do that. And true enough, our April Africa trip got canceled because of COVID. But I did put, so it was all pictures, but I did put one Post-it note that said Vancouver. I didn't know yet what I wanted to do with Vancouver, but it excited me. So I put the word Vancouver, and Whistler, happy place. But at that point, I didn't know how that would be a reality. So I just put it there. So if something excites you, follow the excitement, put a keyword, and just stick it there. So I put Vancouver and Whistler. Who knew I'll end up living here. And I've been here since 2022. 2020. I've been here since 2020. So when something is calling out to you, explore it, investigate it, put little hints in your vision board until you see a picture that you say, oh my God, I love this. Another time I saw a picture in Pinterest of a bamboo villa, high ceiling facing a creek or a river. I said, how amazing is this? But it didn't say where it was. So I cut it out and put it there. Why? Because it's so beautiful. One day in one of our trips, I found myself there with Marilyn, actually. And I said, oh my God, this was in my vision board. They were hanging pools. And I said, I don't know where this is, but I'm just going to put it here. And true enough, the universe made it happen so that I end up there. And Marilyn and I spent my birthday there. I don't know if it was my 48th or something. And we spent a few days in a beautiful villa and we made our trip there. So don't be shy to put things in your vision board. Even the men. Okay. From your vision board. So remember, it started with your journal. No, it started with the parts, the wheel that's in the workbook. Then start a journal just for vision. Don't put anything else there. And then create your vision board coming from what you've written in those parts, that wheel that I showed you. Then come up with a one-liner vision. Why do you need a one-liner? Because sometimes we write so many things in our vision board, but there should be one overarching theme, right? A one-liner that you can recite at gunpoint. If somebody says, where do you want to be in 3 years? I'm helping thousands of people find their journey to happy and get reignited with life again. If I can just imagine a world where so many people, thousands of people are happier because of this, that for me is so exciting. And I wake up every day and I'm not apologetic for working 12 hours a day because I love what I do. So what is your one-liner that you can recite at gunpoint? Because we're going to put it all together, right? So you're going to do your transformation statement. So if you haven't written that earlier, write that now. And then you're going to get your top strength. And if you haven't figured out what your best one is, just get one of your strengths because you can edit this later on. And then your vision statement. So you're going to, I want to go from blank to blank. So it looks something like this. This is someone's example. I want to go from being so overwhelmed to getting back on track so that I can lead my business and family with inspiration. I feel purposeful when I'm the glue in any group when I am the glue in any group I'm in because of my inclusivity and power of vision. So that's her strength. It is 2025. I am happy and fulfilled as I lead my family and community to growth and success. We are closer than ever, living our purpose and core values, and the business has grown 300%. So let's take 3 minutes for you guys to put together, stitch that all together. And don't say, I'll do it later so it's neat. Don't say, I'll do it later on my device. Do it now. You're not going to do it later. 3 minutes. And while people are doing that, if you want to ask a question, just put it in the chat. Somebody in the chat said, everything on my vision board came true within 3 years of creating it. It is so powerful. You can't imagine how powerful vision boarding is. So this is a lot of content that we normally take over 6 weeks, my suggestion is you really spend a lot of time doing the work over the weekend. Go on a retreat by yourself, not with your partner, not with your kids. Just get away and really investigate your life and start being clear on what it is you want. You'll be surprised. You might come home and still not know what you want, but at least you started your journey. And I don't want to fail to mention that the tribe, the community that you stay with, that you work with, that you talk to, is going to help you. If you spend a lot of time with people who think small, guess how you're going to think, right? Is there a spiritual dimension to creating a happy life? Is a question. I think everything is spiritual. And I'm not shy to talk about God because he is my God. But for those who don't have a God, you have a higher power. And everything is spiritual. If you were here when we started, we talked about false beliefs. The problem with some religious beliefs is it really creates a reality. And if you didn't get the correct translation on that, let's say you had a pastor or a priest who translated that in a not so amazing way, and you believed it the way you wanted to believe it, it creates a reality for you. And I believe it becomes like a block for us in creating a happy life. But definitely, I think creating a happy life is spiritual, because why were we created? To be sad. It's to bring happiness to everyone and to be happy. Okay, so stitch together transformation, your best, your future. And make sure you have that somewhere where you can see it. So good things are coming. You have to do the work. If 3 years from now I see you and you're still in the same place and nothing has happened, like you don't have amazing things happening in your life, you created that. So leave the excuses, change can into can't, because you can do whatever it is that you want to do. You can have whatever it is you want to have, but you have to do the work. It doesn't just fall on your lap. Okay, so those were the 3 things. And the course continues on to talk about how do you set your goals and creating a dashboard so you could measure what matters. You have to start creating new habits. There's setting new routines, creating new beliefs. How do you get out of your old belief, creating a supporting belief? And how do you maintain a new mindset and stay there? And that's a lot to do for now. So my suggestion is, when you download the workbook, go on your own and do reflection. Don't say, hey, I'll go get my group of friends, or my husband and I, or my wife and I will do this. No, do your own work. Just really get deep into what it is that you were made to do, where you want to go, what your strengths are, what kind of future you want to have. Because a lot of people say, I know what I want. Then I'll ask them, okay, tell me in 1 sentence. And they can't say it because you don't know what you want. You want a lot of things. The problem with having so many options is we can't choose. And so you have to make that choice, or you're going to be going after every shiny thing that sparkles. And remember, this is only a 3-year vision. So you're only going to create 3-year goals. So why is inner work important? Inner work can change your life. For Sandy, she said it gave me a deeper sense of awareness and clarity of what was going on in my life, which helped me make better and more meaningful decisions. It's like my life lenses were cleaned. The workshop helped me chart a better future for myself and helped reignite lost energy. So I included this because I encourage you to do your inner work. When you download that workbook, work on it. Don't be half-baked. Do it. Work on yourself. Stop your false statements. Somebody said, "Thank you, Eileen. I'm so happy with the wonderful changes that's happening in my life, and I can't thank you enough." So if you know that wonderful changes are coming, why won't you do that work? Take time. I've heard so many people say, "I don't have time." You don't have time for yourself, so you'll still be here in 3 years. And somebody said, "This has been a transformational year for me. I feel like my mind just opened the door, and it's been such an adventure." There were some people who went to me because they wanted to throw the towel in. A few months later, they're opening a second business. Somebody said she's going to retire or sell her company. 7 months later, she's going global. When you find your strengths and what you're meant to do, suddenly you're going to be changing the results in your life. So we're on a mission to reignite your passion for life. So in Lit by Vitamin CEO on Facebook, we're going to start putting free content that you can share with your teammates, with your teams, because they will be 2 to 4 digestible minutes. Nothing, something you can listen to when you're showering or, getting dressed. By the way, I have a waterproof speaker in my shower because I really encourage you guys to never stop learning. Always learn how you can make your life better, right? How you can make life better for other people, but it has to start from you. So please follow us, Lit by Vitamin CEO, because starting October, we're going to be putting 2 to 4 minute videos once a week based on questions that people have been asking. So hopefully that spreads the happiness so that you can share it with people around. And that's it. So before I give you the links, could you guys look at the link in the chat box? This survey will only take 1 minute, and I'll be truly grateful to know how we can improve this and if you learned something, because we plan to do this advocacy 4 times a year for people so that they can get on with their happy life. Just a 1 minute, 1 minuter survey. Just do it now, and I will wait for that minute. So without mentioning the name of the person who sent this, thanks so much for this. It puts structure in what I'm trying to find. It made me realize more and strengthen that belief that I am in the part that I'm actually living my true future self. When I envisioned it last 2018, now it's making me look forward that I'm making another vision for the next future best self. So you will be amazed at how your life course will change and how your feelings will change, how you will change for others, especially for the people who you live with, work with. Okay, so could you just put why if you've finished the survey on the chat box, please? And then I will open the Zoom. You guys can unmute whoever wants to join in after we close the session. If you could please stay for questions, because people learn from questions. You could keep your video off. If you want to stay and not ask a question, but you want to listen, please stay. We'll keep the room open for another 15 minutes. Thank you to everyone for answering the survey. And I hope you learned something. So how we deal with transformation in our Get Lit community is, 1, never stop learning. So this is a kind of learning session. 2, community. Please surround yourself with people who inspire you and who think like-minded core values. They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend time with. Who have you been spending time with? If you could write in your journal the 5 people you've spent the last month with, I'm not talking about your best friends. I'm talking about the 5 people you've spent the last 30 days with, because you are the average of those 5 people. And this is why I love to surround myself with smart people who have great values and who think big. One of you is here, and I can't wait to be in forum with you. So surround yourself with a good community. Third, reflection. Do the inner work. Do a lot of journaling. Fourth is apply. Apply what you learned. You can't just keep learning. You can't read recipe books and not bake or cook them. You have to put it into application. And the fifth is insight. We really need to do a lot of awareness work, inner reflection. Just really look inside. So if you do these 5 things, I'm sure something will change in the next 3 years, in the next few weeks. Please go to vitaminceo.com. You will see a bookmark there that says free workbook, and just click on that and it will be sent to you. I want to thank Anna. She's here. She did our landing page for this workbook, and thank you so much for your talent, for putting your strengths into this work. She's amazing. So if any of you want to know any help with social media or creating your landing pages, please let me know and I'll send you Anna's number. So that's Anna Krebsova. She's also in the chat if you want to send her a message. And Anna, please feel free to put your website also on the chat box. So all of this was done for free for everybody because we want to change the world. So the only thing I ask of you is change the world around you by being your best and doing your strengths, following your excitement, and get turned on, because you're never too old to get turned on. So there, vitaminceo.com, that's where you'll get your workbook. And I look forward to seeing you guys. Yay. Thank you, everybody, for coming and staying. And if you have questions, we're still here. Get well soon, Marco.
Hey, E, hi, how are you?
See
Nice
you
to see
finally.
you.
Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
I thought you had work.
Well, today was free. So
Yay.
it's perfect.
Okay.
That homework of the questions, I just have to say that it was revealing. That was the first time I've ever asked people questions about myself, and it was really quite revealing.
Yeah, what was your one takeaway from that homework?
I'm focusing on the wrong thing. I need to refocus.
Oh, I can't wait to have a Cuento session with you. Who else did that homework with the Ask Your 5 Friends? What was your feedback, Trisha and Nina? Ah, you're on mute.
Very surprising. I didn't see
Surprising.
myself. Yeah, I didn't see myself that way. And after 58 years, oh, it's a new it's a new perspective.
It's interesting how we have blind spots, right? And
Yeah.
we really see ourselves a certain way. And like, it's just crazy when you ask friends, they have something that you don't know that they know, right? Part of the Johari window. So the
Yeah.
question now is, for your reflection, is what are you going to do with that knowledge? Where will you take yourself, right? So that's a tool to help you define where it is that you want to go next. Let me know,
Yeah.
update me, okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So glad you came. Carol, how was your aha moment? Any aha moments for you?
No, I just got confused.
That's good. Confusion is good. That's the first step. So now your homework is to clarify and get clarity.
I know, right?
I have to say this isn't easy. All the questions we went through in the last hour is really hard. Sometimes it takes years to answer that. So be kind to yourselves and really just take time to answer for yourself.
Yeah.
So guys, if you have questions, it helps other people or maybe resonate a takeaway because it's something that you heard that maybe somebody didn't hear. Okay, so somebody has a private question that I will share with you guys. If you're in a fog, sharing with others like strangers is difficult. Is this part of the self-improvement process? Yes, because we weren't meant to live in a fog. We're supposed to live life with a lot of clarity. And I'm not a doctor, but I do know that sometimes if we're in a fog and we can't think straight, that we should consult with a professional if this fog is something that needs help, whether it's from a therapist that you can unload. When, as you can see, I have post-it notes behind me because you know how when your computer is doing the beach ball because it's overloaded with and the speed can't handle it. That's what's gonna happen in your brain, and the fog comes from overloaded everything. So try to see if you could see a professional. But when you don't feel like associating with others, it's not just about self improvement. It's